I was standing under fluorescent lights that made everyone look tired and dishonest when the CEO leaned across the table and hissed, "You're outdated. We're done here." I nodded, calm, respectful, understood. That was the moment the retirement trust activated its voting rights. By Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. The question on the agenda was simple and impossible at the same time. Who just fired the person who owns 76% of the shares? It's funny where betrayals begin. Mine didn't start in a boardroom. It started at a government office. Third appointment missed. Number flashing on a digital screen like a joke I didn't understand. I was stood up again. Third time. The clerk glanced at me with pity, then nodded toward a man across the room. Calm posture, expensive watch, eyes that looked like they measured rooms before entering them. "That handsome guy over there has been waiting all day too," she said. "You two should just get married." We looked at each other, shrugged, said, "Okay." 10 minutes later, on paper, I had a husband. He smiled like he knew exactly what kind of day this was for me. I smiled back like I had already decided something dangerous. I didn't know then that moment would teach me the most important rule of power. Commitment doesn't need romance, it needs timing. The CEO and I had history, years of it. I built his empire quietly, structured the pension funds, designed the retirement trust that stabilized the stock when his ego destabilized everything else. I was the one who told him where the weak points were, trusting he'd never use them against me. We toasted to loyalty. We called each other family. That's how betrayal works. It wears a familiar face. The signs came slowly. Meetings I wasn't invited to. Documents routed around me. A consultant brought in to modernize my work. A 28-year-old with a borrowed vocabulary and my old models rebranded as innovation. Then came the knife. He reassigned the trust. Not legally, not cleanly, just enough to edge me out and test if I'd protest. I didn't. Pain is loud. Planning is silent. I confirmed everything on a Tuesday night with a glass of water and no music. Emails archived, voting thresholds recalculated, a single clause he never bothered to read because it wasn't flashy, contingent activation upon executive termination. I laughed once, soft, controlled. He thought the trust was symbolic. He forgot who designed symbols that move money. Preparation became ritual. I audited quietly, collected signatures he assumed were decorative, updated beneficiary language using the marriage certificate I never expected to matter, a legal shield created by a joke and sealed by bureaucracy. My husband signed without questions. He understood contracts. He didn't ask for love. Surveillance wasn't dramatic. It was calendars, timestamps, patterns of arrogance repeating themselves. Every move he made to erase me triggered a safeguard he didn't know existed. I didn't rush. Rushed revenge leaves fingerprints. The execution began the moment he dismissed me. "Understood," I said, standing up. By the time he leaned back, satisfied, the trust had shifted control, automated, irreversible, perfectly compliant. Friday, the stock dipped. Saturday, analysts whispered. Sunday, the board panicked. Monday morning, he walked into a room where his name was suddenly just another line item. I watched from the glass. No anger, no speeches, just the sound of power moving away from him like a tide he couldn't swim against. The confrontation was private. He demanded it. His face looked older without authority propping it up. "You did this," he said. I didn't deny it. I didn't explain. I told you I understood. I replied. You just didn't know what I understood. His voice cracked when he realized the truth, not that he'd lost the company, but that he'd never owned it the way he thought he did. That part was mine. The fallout was surgical. Press releases written by lawyers who never raised their voices, shares redistributed, his exit framed as mutual. Power hates scenes. It prefers paperwork. Now when I think back to that clerk and her joke, I almost smile. I didn't marry for love. I married for leverage. And I didn't lose a job. I inherited control. Betrayal taught me clarity. Revenge taught me patience. I don't miss him. I don't regret anything. Some people think revenge is loud. They're wrong. The best revenge is calm, signed, stamped, and finalized while the other person is still laughing.